Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports and the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Paulo De Rosario. In tonight's game plan, our kababayan Jordan Clarkson takes home the 2021 NBA Six-Man of the Year award. Plus, we'll break down today's games in the NBA playoffs. Then, Camille Clarin takes us behind her lens as we talk about two of her former teammates, rising Filipina basketball stars Ella Fajardo and Animam. And we'll find out how Gilas Pilipinas program director Baldwin leads his loaded super team of coaches for the national squad. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. It's official. Jordan Clarkson is your 2021 NBA Six-Man of the Year. He joins elite company as the only Jazz player in franchise history to bring home the award. The 28-year-old Philam posted a career high of 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists average per game this season and received 65 first-place votes. His Jazz teammate Joe Ingles, meantime, finished in second place. Now, according to JC, the award is a big achievement, but his focus remains fixed on bringing home a title for his team.
It's definitely an amazing achievement and something that I'm gonna embrace today. Like you said, I'm gonna live in the moment, but I know we got bigger things ahead, and I want to get something else done and bring a gold ball home for sure.
Once again, congratulations to our kababayan Jordan Clarkson. Now let's move on to some playoff action. A pair of big games today, both one-sided outcomes though. The Bucks dominating the Heat 132-98, and the Nuggets with a series-tying win over the Trailblazers 128-109. Now joining us to talk about today's matchups as well as her very bold predictions for the rest of the playoffs. Let's welcome UAAP champion and NBA hype analyst Camille Clarin. Welcome back to the show.
Hey Paolo, thank you for having me again.
All right, so before we get to your playoff bracket, which let's say we're going to have a few arguments about it in just a bit, let's go over some of the games today. That Bucks game against the Heat, it was something to watch, especially that first quarter. What did you make of what the Bucks did today?
I mean, obviously, if you think of people who want to create defensive schemes against Giannis, you build your defensive scheme around him. But how would you...
pagkatapos.
But what's going to happen once everyone on the team is making three-pointers? You have 10 three-pointers. You finish with 22 total. Like, you can't build a defense around both those things. So, teams are going to have to decide what their priority is moving forward, obviously. They're super dominant right now against the team that I picked to win against them. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's okay. I like the drama in the East, so.
Yeah, and, right now that reminds me of that long argument that the Bucks don't have what it takes to win it in the playoffs, and I think that felt a bit like a statement. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that first quarter was the largest lead ever in postseason history at 26 points after just the first. Now moving on to the other game, Denver Nuggets getting one over Portland. This is supposed to be one of the more hotly contested series. What did you make of this one?
I mean, obviously, Jokic had a great first game, and he had a great second game. But I think what made them take the second game was the fact that the role players stepped up. You see Damian Lillard having these 50, 60-point games. He had, 40-something points this game. But if their other players don't step up, if McCollum, obviously, he's the kind of second person in his role. But if, Carmelo Anthony didn't have a good showing, but I think over, let's say, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, there was about 4 or 5 players on Denver who had double digits. So when you have a star like Jokic and then you have all these supporting players, it's just a recipe for success. So, Portland needs to capitalize on their bench because they need to support Damian Lillard, or else they're going to see themselves an early ending to this playoff run.
And all credit also as well to Aaron Gordon, who said that his job in the second half was basically to clamp down on Damian Lillard And whether or not that was one of the bigger factors that led to Denver winning in the end, it's, I guess, up to debate on how you look at it. Now, from that point on, speaking about debates, let us move on and talk about your picks in the NBA Bracket Challenge. When I saw it, my eyes rolled so many times because I felt disrespected for my team. And at the same time, I'm sure that you have, I don't know, I am so curious to know about your process. What did you think of? Did you do any research? Did you just go with your gut feel? Or were you just swinging for the fences looking for that big hot take?
I just wanted to have a bunch of hot takes. I mean, everyone wants to play safe and, get all these, the sure wins and things. But I don't know. For honestly, the reason why I picked Phoenix over Lakers, I'm not a big Lakers fan, as we heard on this last episode or whenever I was here last with Tyler. But honestly, Phoenix is showing out and they've done a good job. And Lakers is just banking on their excuses and their half healthy players. So I mean that could be my hot take that makes it through. But okay, Utah, LA Clippers. I don't know. LA Clippers right now are not looking that great.
Yeah.
Right? But I'll give it to Utah. Utah's looking strong. But I mean, I feel like Brooklyn taking it is not a hot take. That's pretty safe. But all the teams they had to go through, maybe not. Like maybe those were hot takes. I think my West is very controversial, but my East is pretty safe.
I was gonna say that because I'm looking at your predictions here. And first of all, Phoenix beating LA, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there are a lot of fans out there right now who are Lakers fans, who are worried about the Suns. They should be worried, shouldn't they?
Yes. I think so. I mean, they have the, Phoenix young guns. You see Trae Young. You see, obviously, all the players who are younger, stepping into their roles, like Luka. I feel like it's the new wave. They're coming up to take the spot. So I'm supporting that. I like that. I like that narrative. So that's the one I'm going to pick for the playoff run.
Can I just say our lead writer is a Lakers fan, and knowing that you have disrespected him here, I don't know whether or not we're going to get you back on the show anytime soon, but let's see. You never know. I'm looking at the other side as well. You have Miami progressing against Milwaukee in 7 games. After the first 2 losses of Miami against the Bucks, do you feel that it is going to be a tough challenge right now for the Heat to get it over the Bucks after what we've seen?
Oh yeah, of course. I think I definitely regret picking that. But Miami had a great playoff run against them last year, and I was just capitalizing on maybe that momentum to push them through. But a team who's seeking revenge, honestly, might have the bigger hand and the bigger chance of making it through. Just because a lot of them haven't played in a while, so it's their chance to kind of get that revenge and show them that it wasn't a fluke that they made it through.
I also think that you have a vendetta against the most popular teams in the league because I'm looking at what you did to the Knicks in particular. So you had the Knicks beating the Atlanta Hawks in the first round in 5 games. Again, after what Trae Young did, that may be in jeopardy. But looking at the next round, you have them matching up against Philadelphia, which I agree with, but you have them losing in 5 games. Is the gap that big between Philadelphia and New York?
I think so. I think that obviously they're both coached extremely well. But I think Philadelphia just has the upper hand in terms of, scoring output. Obviously you have Julius Randle, you have Alec Burke, those 2 are producing pretty well. But as you can see, it's kind of trailing off. I mean, they haven't had that good showings, but obviously it's their first time in the playoffs. So, we have to give that to them. But I don't know. I just like how Philly's offense is running. Doc Rivers in the playoffs is always someone to root for, especially, I'm a big Boston fan, so I like his chances.
All right. Okay. Looking at this bracket right now, again, this was done before any of the game 1s were even played. But right now, if you're to change one part of your bracket at the moment, what would that be, given that we've seen a few games already?
Maybe the Milwaukee. Might have to give up on the Heat a little early. I mean, the Bucks are super dominant. I mean, it's kind of like if you think about NU, our team. You have Jack Animam who played. You have Rena Itesi. you obviously focus on, trying to shut down our bigs because push us out, try and make a shoot. But if you have keep and goal, Monique, me, all these players, all my teammates who can all shoot, none of us shoot bricks. We're all pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you defend us, right? I think that's the question all these UAAP teams need to think about. So, yeah.
I liked how you pumped yourself up towards the end of this, talking about the NBA. But, I agree with you completely, especially about your particular team. And again, what I don't agree with you with is your bracket picks. But we have the receipt. Let's see whether or not you get it right at the end. And we're not done with you yet, Camille, because after the break, Camille Clarin takes us behind her lens as we talk about two of her former teammates, rising Filipina basketball stars Ella Fajardo and Jack Animam. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. I'm Paulo De Rosario. Ladies and gentlemen, the hype of the NBA playoffs is real, but fans should not forget that the WNBA season is also underway. With the continuous emergence of women's basketball, the promise stays true for the Pinay Hoops players to reach for the stars. In a recent photo by East West Private, new acquisition Jack Animam is seen alongside national team coach Pat Aquino, Kai Soto's younger sister Erin, and fellow Filipina basketball phenom Ella Fajardo. Tonight, we get to know more about our two promising stars, Jack and Ella, through the eyes of one of their former teammates, UAAP champion and FIBA 3x3 bronze medalist, Camille Clarin. Camille, thank you again for joining us here and giving us a bit more of an idea of how these two girls are. I was very lucky to be there when you first played with Ella, in particular, in a little place that we like to call Mongolia. Very, very cold place. And my question to you is especially about Ella, because not a lot of people know about her here in the Philippines. She hasn't necessarily showed out here in the country just yet. What makes her special? What makes Coach Pat Aquino so excited about her future in women's basketball?
Well, I'm super thankful that I was able to play with her, and we kind of shared our international experience together. But the thing about Ella is that she's not that tall, obviously, but she's the definition of heart over height. She is such a hard worker. Like, when she wants to get to the basket, she'll get there. She'll get the foul and she'll make the bucket. She's also a sharp shooter. I mean, she's been putting in so much work in the off season. Obviously, she's going T1, so, she has to show out there. But I think we're super excited to have her be part of the Gilas program in the future. And I just hope she continues to, keep up that work ethic, because it was a pleasure playing with her. And, she knows how to find you. She knows how to call out the plays properly. But really just her, her dominance and her confidence when it comes to the court is something that kind of rubs off on all the teammates around her.
And off the court, as a teammate, as a motivator, she tries to prop everyone up around her. And just working with someone like her, what did that mean for you in particular, knowing that there's such a positive vibe going around Philippines basketball, in particular at that age level?
I mean, it's a beautiful feeling. You're seeing a lot more younger players stepping up to the plate. They're having more confidence in their game. And I think that's definitely what we need, to push the women's game forward. So I'm super glad to have, Ella with me in this fight to kind of push women's basketball here in the Philippines, because she really is great vibes all the time. And She always has such a great attitude towards anything, win or lose. She's always there supporting her teammates. And, she's a great player, a great teammate, and I can't wait to play with her again.
Speaking about great vibes and great attitude, Jack Animam is probably I don't know, she's the epitome of that. She is a smile every time you talk to her. Like halfway through the sentence, she'll end up laughing no matter what she's talking about. And with her being a teammate, and we all know that she turns into a different beast when she hits the court. Could you give us a bit of a distinction or how that feels close up once she hits the court and she's out to kill everyone on the court?
Well, I had the great experience of being her roommate as well as being a freshman on her team as a senior. So I got best of both worlds. Jack is greatness. Jack exudes greatness. She wants to win. She'll work as hard as the next person, but probably work even harder. Honestly, as a freshman, when I came in here, I wasn't working up that early. I was just heading straight to practice, but she was super inspiring, kind of bringing me up to the team, the team culture. And she is basically what, NU greatness is all about. She worked so hard, even if it's her last year, she made sure that everyone was always on time. Everyone, put in that extra effort after practice. I can't say enough good things about Jack because, she's just a great person. She's so fun to be around. And she's somebody you don't want to lose for. She works so hard. She brings everybody up around her. I just miss playing with her.
Do you have a favorite memory with her, rather? Is there anything that sticks out that we haven't seen on the court or something that maybe on the court that you felt that, you're going to remember her for that for a very long time?
Honestly, not really, because I feel like every moment we have is just super memorable. Every time we eat, whether it's a win or loss, we always go home, we eat some good food, we gossip. We're very good gossipers, I'd like to say. We have fun times. Before she went to East West Private, actually, she told me, and I was one of very few people to know, and I was just so thankful that she, kind of entrusted me to learn about that. And I think we had about a 2-hour phone call the day before her flight. It was just nice because you realize you haven't seen some of these people for a year, almost 2 years. So I'm just super proud of her because this is something that's been well-deserved for a very long time. And, this is just the start of her opportunities. You guys think this is crazy? Watch out for Jack in 2 to 3 years because she will be all over the world.
It's funny because I like how you admitted flat out that the both of you are mga chismosa, that you both are gossips. And looking at the future, you mentioned it just a while ago, you see her all over the world. I'm sure you have more of an insight than most people do about the future of Jack. How excited should the Filipino fans be, the Filipina fan in particular be, that what Jack is doing in the States right now?
They should be extremely excited just because of the atmosphere of women's basketball right now is on the rise. I feel like a lot more people are kind of joining in to support us and, give us a chance to be successful here in the Philippines for a sport that we love. And Jack is giving us the opportunities to, maybe go overseas. She's putting our name on the map that Filipino ballers can play. They're not just meant to stay in the Philippines and end in college. They have the potential to be great, also impact the game of women's basketball all over the world.
With Jack and Ella out there trying to get things done overseas, do you feel that their efforts in particular are going to be what would make it more exciting here at home in terms of the growth of the women's game?
I definitely think it gives more credit to us as to all the homegrown players because it shows that all these players who are here right now have the potential to be something great if they just get the opportunities and the training that they need and the support, right? So you see players like Ella who grew up in the States, homegrown talent, she's Filipino, full Filipino, but she's great. She works super hard because she's also been given all the opportunities and the support to be great. Jack, who has almost kind of the opposite of a story. She didn't even want to play basketball, but she was supported throughout her elementary, throughout her high school, to end up being one of the most successful players in college basketball here in the Philippines. So I think it just goes to show that once you give these ladies, my teammates, all the young girls, opportunities to succeed. You're going to give them a chance to show out and prove to you guys that, women's basketball matters.
Camille, very well said. Honestly, we would have talked about you too, but then it would have been weird to talk about what you can do for the women's game right in front of you.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
agree.
Camille, thank you very much. We love having you on the show. Thank you very much for your insights on the NBA and women's basketball here in the Philippines, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, thank you.
Now, after the break, we'll find out how Gilas Pilipinas Program Director Tab Baldwin leads his super loaded team of coaches for the national squad. Stay tuned. You're watching the game.
With the low average age of the members of the pool for Gilas Pilipinas men here inside the Calamba training bubble, Program Director Tab Baldwin has had to do a lot of teaching. But luckily for him, he is surrounded by a bunch of able and experienced coaches who have made his job a lot easier. Baldwin has formed many groups of coaches before, but due to the pandemic, it's highly unlikely that he has spent as much time with the coaching staff as much as he has with his current crop.
You can't do this level of work without passion, and I think that that's what we're blessed with. And to be perfectly honest, I think most coaches around the world are cursed with that same passion. So we find a lot of joy in the time that we spend together. We love looking at the basketball. We love helping our players, but the time commitment is significant, and the drain can be pretty daunting at times. There's a lot of nights, I'm sure the other coaches go to bed really tired. I know I do, and we're looking for a pretty quick turnaround to 7 in the morning to get up for the next practice after finishing a meeting at 12 or 12:30 in the morning. But this is the job right now, and fortunately we have a passion for it. We don't feel like anybody's imposing it on us, and I think that's how the coaching profession really blesses its participants, is with a love of the game. And if you don't have that, you'd really struggle to do what we're doing.
From the resumption of the FIBA competitions in late 2020, they've been a part of so many training bubbles that demanded hundreds, if not thousands of hours. And all this time has led to a special appreciation from Baldwin directed towards the entire crew.
I'll start with somebody like Coach Alton. What an amazing advantage it is to have a guy like him with 17 years of NBA experience. He's been on NBA coaching staffs. He's worked with big men for, I guess, almost 30 years now. And we get the benefit of all of that experience. And with, Ange, who's not your typical naturalized player. He's a very young player. We're not bringing in an NBA or a super experienced guy. Coach Sandro is our video guy. He breaks down hours and hours and hours of video. If you think the rest of the coaching staff puts a lot of hours in, Coach Sandro probably doubles that. And in doing that, as a very young coach, he's gaining invaluable experience for his coaching career.
Baldwin also has the advantage of being surrounded by 3 former PBA head coaches.
Coach Jong is really, the leader of the group in terms of the coaches. He directs a lot of the information that we're giving to the players. Coach is a great instinctive guy. He reads the players very well. He has a great relationship with the players. Coach Boyette serves really as almost an administrative assistant. Of course, we get all the advantage of his sideline coaching experience and all the practices that he's run, but he also really keeps the rest of the coaching staff organized. He keeps us in place. He keeps us on time. He keeps us focused on what the next job that we have to do is. and that's a vital role in a coaching staff. And we brought Coach Kaloy into the mix this year as well, and it would be embarrassing for me to say that he just provides all the humor and the good times, but what a pleasure he is to have on the coaching staff. But also he brings all of his PBA coaching experience, and I'd have to say that Coach Kaloy has acted really as a provocateur a lot in our camp, because he's constantly saying, there's another way to do this, there's another way to do this. I'm using some similar stuff and I'm doing it this way. And without that, we tend to become yes men to one another. So we submit to the system. And he's the guy that's kind of on the outside of the system, poking holes in it all the time.
And as always, his trusted lieutenant from the Ateneo Blue Eagles remains by his side.
I think, probably a lot of people know the relationship that Coach Sandy Arispacachaga and I have. It's a very special relationship, because in my 40 years, I've never really had coaches that I leaned on. And he makes leaning on him like the definition of my job. He's so intelligent and he's so ever present, at my side, and keeping me focused and keeping me aligned. And I make way too many mistakes in my coaching, and to have Sandy there, to identify them, because he's just so sharp and he's so tuned in all the time. And then, I'm the program director, so it's up to me to kind of integrate, what the players are learning and thinking, or what the direction of the program is, to work with Coach Ryan Gregorio on all the outside issues and make sure we diminish those, and our manager Gabby Cui, and Yvette Ruiz, and just make sure that things are in place. And I probably have a lot to do with the content of what we're coaching as well. So I enjoy that role, and I really want to make this program something special. I want to make it special for the country, for these players, and especially for MVP, who's invested so much into Gilas and into this particular program. And everybody knows it's the second time that he's done it, and I hope we can take this one to even greater heights than the last one, and learn from some of the things that Coach Raiko wasn't able to complete, or learn from some of the things that he did well, and emulate those things. So that's always in our mind, and we appreciate Boss MVP so very, very much, and we don't exist without him.
Para sa bayan! No! From Calamba, Laguna, Carlo Pamintuan for One Sports Plus.
And of course, just so everyone remembers who they all are, we'd like to pay tribute to all the staff members in the Gilas bubble, trying to make sure that our Gilas Pilipinas is ready for their next challenges. Head coach Jong Wichico, Gilas program director Coach Tab Baldwin, assistant Sandy Arispacachaga, Coach Boyd Fernandez, Coach Kaloy Garcia, who I can guarantee you does provide all the laughs. Coach Alton Lister, Sando Soriano, their video guy who's learning more and more, and of course, Dex, making sure everyone is ready, everyone is healthy for the next challenge. Of course, Manager Gabi Cui, thank you very much for allowing us insight into the Gilas bubble. And of course, Coach Ryan Gregorio, who helps us out a lot in terms of making sure all the communication is right. And I think all of the Gilas members, past and present, and I'm sure even the future, would be okay with me saying this, that the next person we're going to thank deserves all of the plaudits out there, a lot of it. Ma'am Yvette Ruiz, salamat po for everything that you do for Gilas Pilipinas. And we are all excited to see what Gilas can do in their upcoming challenges, in their upcoming tournaments, with possibly our youngest core yet. Now, catch us on weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. My name is Paulo de Rosario, and this has been The Game.